Good evening, everyone. My name is Glenda Woolfolk, and I'm the CEO, President of the No Sister Left Behind nonprofit organization. And we have a good evening planned for you tonight. So we're going to go with our introductions and be done.
Good afternoon, ladies. I'm Linda Factory, the treasurer of No Sister Left Behind, and it's so good to be back with you this week. And we are looking forward to hearing some great conversation tonight.
Well, welcome once again. And I'm Pam Walker, and I'm the Vice President of No Sister Left Behind. And I'm so glad that you're here tonight. Glenda? You're muted.
Muted.
There we go. Okay, we're going to move forward. Before we move forward, I want to make a few announcements about our Higher Education Empowerment Program. We will be having 2 sessions, 2 4-hour sessions, and in the 4 hours, you complete the program. You don't have to come back out every week, so in 4 hours, you complete the program. Our program is going to start on Saturday, October the 9th. Saturday, October the 9th. You can do the program from 10 a.m. to 2 in the afternoon, and you'll be finished. Our orientation, all that is encapsulated in that 4 hours, so you'll be done. So we're grateful for that. And then the second session starts in November. It's going to be November the 6th. That's on a Saturday as well. So we welcome you as you come tonight and you hear a couple of things about our Higher Education Empowerment Program that you would be interested in registering for the program. So we're going to get started, and we have some lovely guests with us tonight. We're glad that they came on, and they're going to be here with us just to give you some highlights about what one of our participants received during our program. So we're glad, and we have 2 other women here that are on our board that actually did one of the workshops. So they're here to kind of encourage you as well. So we're going to get started, and I am going to start with letting each of the guests introduce themselves, and we're going to start with Nikki.
Hi, I am Nikki Littles. I am a 31-year-old married mother of 1 son, and I also had a hand in raising my younger siblings. Happy to be a part of the program.
Thank you, Nikki. Then we're going to go to Miss Erica, Dr. Erica Harper.
Hi, it's great to be here. Welcome, everybody. Good evening. And this is so exciting to have this workshop, and HEAP is amazing. And so I just am so excited to share about it and to have our members who've completed the program to give their experience and testimony about it. So welcome, everyone. Just a little bit of background about me. Currently, I teach health psychology and positive psychology at CSUB. And being a part of this program is my love. And I'm just so glad to be here and so excited to talk about some important topics.
There's Deborah Bradford.
Hi, I'm Deborah Bradford, and I'm a part of the No Sister Left Behind. I'm so excited about this higher education empowerment that we're trying to convince everyone to be a part of. I am a nurse, and I am on the board of No Sister Left Behind.
Thank you, ladies. Thank you, ladies, so much. During our program session, we had an orientation, and during the orientation, those of us of No Sister Left Behind shared with our participants just to kind of break the ice, what we had to go through, or what the obstacles that we endured, trying to go in the barriers that we may have had. And we had a great discussion, So we want to share that during our orientation of HEAP, these are the questions. We talked about our individual barriers. If you are willing, will you reshare what some of those barriers were? I'm talking to our guest.
My barriers. Yeah, the barriers for starting the program or starting school or both?
For starting school.
Life, that was my biggest barrier. Not having enough support, not having that push to say, go ahead, you can do it. That is the greatest takeaway from the program for me. To have genuine people in your corner believing in you. That's the biggest thing I took from it. That's where I lacked, and it's, I doubted myself, and I'm getting too old, and my child is too old, and I had all those thoughts, but I met some amazing women, and some who are going through the same thing as I am now, and some who have been there, done that, and it just gave me the push that I needed to say, hey, you can do this. It's never too late.
Never too late. Never too late. Thank you so much for sharing. Deborah or Dr. Parker, Dr. Harper, did you want to say anything?
Yes, I do. Actually, can I? And first of all, thank you for sharing that, and resharing really, and providing your own experience is just so powerful. And our experience together, as going through the program, I think also was so powerful, and us all sharing. There's a great deal of bonding that happened, and it's networking and growing together. And so one of the topics that we address is that grit factor, and the stories were just amazing. And really why that grit factor is, so necessary in achieving a purpose or a goal, and, and completing the program, and then moving on and sharing that experience just speaks volumes. So thank you for sharing about that.
Glenda, this is Deborah, and I would like to say to Nikki, thank you for the courage of even coming on to even express how you personally feel and what your barriers are. And that's you have broke down one of your barriers right there, just being able to come on and talk about it. I like to say that barriers for a lot of us, I can share with myself, barriers was just being the age, like you said also, Nikki. And age, what I have found out, is just a number. It's just a number, but it's what's in your mind, what you are motivated to do. And you said that you were not motivated, and it could have been because of your environment and things you have been recently going through for a length of time. So I want to say that those are barriers, and there are other barriers that we have not talked about. There are other things. Sometimes barriers can be just what other people think about us. Mm-hmm. A barrier can be fear, negativity. You could be dwelling on the past, and that causes you to feel down and not be able to get or move toward your future. And then one of the other things is toxic people. Toxic people sometimes can be a barrier also. But just the fact that you came out, you went through the orientation, you have already gone leaps and bounds, and I see your future and it's looking real good.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, for me, I will say that, and right along with what you were saying, Deborah, that overcoming hurdles, it became a theme in my life. Adjusting to those curveballs became a theme, and then developing that grit that I mentioned became a theme. And I think that grit. And so there's a quote that I want to share from, and I love this quote from Angela Duckworth, who said, "Grit is sticking with your future day in, day out, and not just for the week, not just for the month, but for years." And I saw what was so cool and amazing in seeing the program and going through the program, and was just that development and that use of that grit and the stories that were shared and the bonding and sisterhood. So it's just an amazing experience. I think for all of us, and it was just awesome. So, I don't know why I thought of that, Angela Duckworth, that one quote is just so powerful. And I just saw that happen in the time that we had together, which was
Yeah.
really, really amazing to watch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I agree with you as well, Dr. Harper, because, you know, when we first did the orientation, everybody was kind of hesitant because it was our first time. And, you know, and the participants, they didn't know what was going to happen, you know, but, you know, I think that first night with us sharing with them our hurdles, our barriers, the things that we had gone through, that they were able to relax with us and we were able to bond. And you saw that all the way through the program. You're absolutely right. It was a great bonding process. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, ladies, on to our next question. That's for Nikki. What made you take the first step to register for our program?
I saw the advertising and I didn't really know what it was. I was sharing it because Auntie Deborah was sharing it. And I was like, oh, okay. And then the more I got to actually reading the post and seeing what it was about. And I've always wanted to go back and finish what I started. Once I found out what it was about, it was just perfect timing because my youngest sister had just turned 18, graduated high school. And I was telling her about it, actually more for her. And then she said, you need to go with me. And I said, okay, you know, kind of. So here we are. And I'm glad that we pushed our way and went through, because gave us resources and the push. And we start school next month.
Yay, that's great.
That is excellent. That is excellent. Okay,
Wow.
ladies, we're going to go to our third question. Our program provides 3 workshops. Our program does provide 3 workshops, but I think the very first workshop was the one with the hook, line, and the sinker, because it involved the workshop speaking on learning how to balance your life and family, work, and school, and that was brought to us by Deborah Bradford. And then the second part of that was how to develop a mindset and the perseverance to help in overcoming obstacles to achieve your college education. And then the third one was Dr. Harper. The second one was by, Dr. Jessica Grimes. And then the third one was learning mindfulness as a way to process life, emotional and stressful challenges. And so I think that, to me, now we're going to discuss this, but I think to me that was the most important workshop, because you were changing the way people thought about school, the barriers that we may have. So would you ladies like to kind of talk about that a little bit?
So I can start it off.
Okay.
I think I talked about learning how to balance life, family, and work. That was a big obstacle I had to go through myself. So I experienced it. I had to learn how to be able to work, do a good job at work, be a great mom at home, a good wife, and to balance it with my kids and my grandkids. That was something that I should say a testimony. So what I did is I set a schedule, and that schedule helped me to organize myself, and it helped me to share with my family in that schedule that they could be a part of the schedule too. So it didn't have to all be me. So we, in the schedule, we figured out who was going to wash the dishes, who was going to cook, who was going to wash the clothes, chores, just a complete organization of the family, so that, because, you know, I sat down and let them know I was going back to school. And then we also, I had to make sure that I organized myself with my work projects, because I had to do well at work. So I had to organize that. I put everything on a calendar. When projects were due, even for family, even the projects we had at the house. Any projects that I had, we set a schedule for it so that it was organized. Everything got its time. And then we talked about, I talked about developing the time with your family. You have to have time with your family. So it can't be just all studying. I'm coming home, kicking off the shoes, and let me start studying. We had to do our part, you know, with the family as well. If it was watching a movie together, if it was just a talk, if it was playing a game, whatever it was, the family had to have their time as well. So I developed a calendar for that. And I also made sure I spent time doing that. And then I had to have time with my husband. He had to have time as well. So whatever he wanted to do, we just make sure that was on the schedule. I think he was sick of the schedule, but that schedule's got us through. And then I had to have time for myself. You know, I had to have a little time where I wasn't thinking about work. I wasn't thinking about the kids. I wasn't thinking about my husband. I wasn't thinking about school. But I needed a little time. And sometimes that was just getting in the bathtub and relaxing and having a candle there and having some music going or something. But my time, many times it was just walking. I love to walk. And if it was nothing but 30 minutes or to an hour, I walked just to clear my mind. But everything went on a schedule, and that helped me to balance school. It helped me to balance my family, and it helped me to balance work. And I think, I don't know, Nikki, you can tell me how you reacted with that when I told you all about it when I did it, but that's what I did to get through.
That's good.
Were there ever times when you got off schedule? And if so, how did you get back on schedule, back into the groove of things that you needed to accomplish?
Thank you, Pam, for that question, because life happens. Mm-hmm. And it was a lot of times I got off schedule. Mm-hmm. So whatever that occurrence was, I tried to deal with it and put it as a priority. And that meant I might have to study all night long, and that happened. Mm-hmm. I mean, I had to take care of that problem. And then when I got everything all situated, then I sat down, the house was quiet. I started studying. I looked at the clock. It was 4:45, 5 o'clock in the morning, jumped in the shower, put my clothes on, went to work. Don't know how I went through it, but I got through it. Right. So to answer your question, yeah, there were times that I got off kilter. Maybe I didn't spend as much time that I wanted to spend with myself. And I had to put some of that time back to do something else, but I tried to get back to the schedule.
Right. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. Deborah Bradford, I totally, that really resonated with me as far as when you spoke about having a schedule, keeping a schedule is so, so important, but also having, like you said, that word balance kept coming up. Yes. And absolutely having that balance every day amongst all of the hats, all of the roles that we have every day. And then also putting ourselves on our own schedule books, right? And having that me time, and absolutely having that we time, family, friends, but also having putting ourselves on our own schedule book and taking care of ourselves, because sometimes overload is something that we deal with in wearing all of these hats. And we also know something about stress and overload can lead to things like physical deterioration, things like premature aging, right. Inflammation. Physically, we can feel all of these things. And so I just wanted to also note that a big part of our program is equipping everyone with those coping skills. Yes. And so and also what Dr. Grimes addresses is that mindset. Our mindset matters, how you interpret those challenges. Do you perceive it as a setback or challenges? I can't do this rather than I will do this. And so a big part of that is just that healthy coping. And so that's where a big part of the HEAP program in particular comes in, with giving those strategies, resources, wraparound of, healthy coping. I mean, so we're all going to have stress, but we can actually use that, natural stress response in a productive way that is proactive rather than, the unhealthy reactive strategies or the go-to stuff. And so I really believe and hope by the end of the program that that it empowers our members to just turn the tables on stress. And so, yeah, absolutely. I mean, we have all of these roles and challenges, but yeah, definitely having that schedule is so important. and putting ourselves on our own schedule book and having healthy coping ways of saying, okay, right now I'm going to practice mindfulness. I'm
Right.
going to engage in guided breathing and get in touch with myself. Because so often we get so wrapped up in wearing all these hats, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I totally agree. Absolutely.
You know what I want
Glenda,
to say? Go ahead.
I was going to say this, listening to you, Erica, I thought about BC Forbes. He had this quote and he said, history, let me see if I can remember, history has demonstrated that most notable winners usually encounter heartbreaking obstacles before they triumph. And they won because they refused to become discouraged by the defeats. So when we put all that together, no matter what we go, no matter, our mindset has to be in a place that we have made up in our mind that we're going to go through this, and that at the end we win. There's a triumph. At the end, we're not going to let our defeats, we're not going to succumb to something that was bad for us and it didn't work out. But what we're going to do, we're going to press harder, and then pressing harder, then we triumph. And I thought about what Forbes said, we triumph as long as we persevere and keep going.
That's good. That's good. You know what, Deborah, both of you ladies are talking. Another thing we talked about that night, I want to say it was either in your topic or in Erica's topic, and you talked about setting barriers with friendship or outside things that can distract you from studying, that can distract you from your tutoring sessions, that can distract you from things that you have obligated yourself to so you can achieve your education. You want to talk a little bit about that?
I just want to say that when you go back to school, and we're going to help you with this, you have to realize that you're in the winning circle right now. There's some things you have to do. There's some things you have to let go. You have to make up in your mind that, number one, you're going to get it done. No, there's no failure in what you're about to do. But you're right. You have to, with some friends, you have to cut them. I have to say that. And maybe those are the friends that don't study. Those are the friends that don't want to go back to school. Those are the friends that are not working to achieve anything.
Right.
I'm not saying they're not your friends. I'm just saying those group of people that that you are calling your friends, and they are your friends because you do certain things. It's all about you. You only have 24 hours in a day. And in that time period, in order for you to be prepared, you have to be set, like I said, get that schedule together and make sure that you are putting the work into it, because it will pay off for you. And so when you're putting that time in, then when you have a tutor session, you're going to be ready for that tutor session because you weren't talking on the phone, you weren't on Facebook, you weren't doing things that was going to distract you and not get the work done. So you're right, Glenda, we did talk about that. We talked about choosing your friends. And then I'm going to tell you this, your real friends, your real sisterhood, they're going to be there for you, and they're going to be cheering you on.
Yeah.
They will understand.
Yeah. I think what we're really getting at right now is practicing healthy boundaries.
Right.
Practicing healthy boundaries and being able to identify those parts of our lives that are causing us stress and dealing with them head on, and just and like you were saying, just practicing those healthy boundaries and surrounding ourselves with supportive others rather than, I think the word came up, toxic relationships, right? Right? I mean, so, and being able to have an awareness about that, because that's really what happens first. Once you become aware of that, and then you can begin to, and I say practice from a growth mindset perspective, rather than being fixed on something and saying, okay, well, this person, I'm going to get rid of them. No, it's just about practicing, those healthy boundaries and setting limits and letting other people know, hey, look, I have to do this right now, or identifying like, okay, I see this as a pattern between this person and myself, and it's not doing anything except bringing me down, maybe. But yeah, just practicing those healthy boundaries. And it's like, I know I keep saying the word practice, but again, as Dr. Grimes in our program addresses, is having that growth mindset, that mindset of, okay, just opening the door of option, giving yourself the option of practicing something enough to then achieve that, rather than, okay, I had a setback. Okay, that's not for me, but
Right.
or writing someone off or something like that. No, this is an opportunity with this person to practice me, exercising that and saying, hey, look, I've got to study right now, or, I have to stick with this schedule. And right now, this is me time or something. So yeah, definitely.
Okay, Ms.
I
Erica,
think
you
that's
also.
what-
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Deborah.
I was going to say, I wanted to add on to what Dr. Grimes was saying about that growth mindset. I remember one of the things she was talking about was that growth mindset will allow people to thrive during challenging times because you're growing. And I thought that was really phenomenal. And another thing, she talked about affirmations.
Yeah.
During those affirmations, you might say something like, I am responsible for my own growth, and I am willing to put in the effort so that I can achieve my goal. And that's all about growth. And it's nothing negative. It's all positive, and it's just an affirmation. And you're saying it every day, and you're believing it, and you're walking in it. So it helps you to get through it.
Yes.
Good. That's good.
Yeah.
I just want to say, go ahead.
Oh, I was
Yeah,
just going to say, that positive self-talk. I think sometimes we can always get into that, revert back to those negative thoughts that come into our minds. So being aware of that, I think a big part of our program for the first workshop is raising that self-awareness of our ability to catch ourselves in that moment of negative self-talk and replace it, right? And be able to, even if we have more of a fixed mindset, just the perception alone of knowing that you have more options opens a door to growth and moving into more of a growth mindset. So yeah, I totally agree. Definitely. Yes. So that's a big part of the program. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it is. Nikki, did you want to say anything, add to that? Because you were there listening as well, and you were a participant. So.
No, I'm just grateful for the opportunity. It gave me the push that I needed to get started after toying with the idea for so long. As wives and mothers, we sometimes tend to forget about ourselves, and I finally have to do something. I'm excited about doing something for me, and so.
Yeah, that's good, Nikki. Thank you, Nikki. We're gonna pull it. We're gonna pull it out. I think, but you hung in there with that program, so I'm really glad of that. And so I just wanted to also add on that Dr. Harper talked about emotional and stressful challenges, the times that you want to quit, or you think you bring up all these things in your mind, saying you can't make it, you're not going to do it, it's not for you. All these voices in your head. So you want to talk about that a little bit, Dr. Harper?
Yes. Oh goodness, just the juggling alone of family, social relationships, professional relationships, education. I mean, these are all things that we're all juggling. But so the HEAP program, I mean, I really love how it intentionally addresses these obstacles and also just overcoming them. And so role overload. Okay. I teach about this in my class at CSUB. So role overload is so common for women trying to balance all of these responsibilities at the same time. That's something that all of us here are probably doing at this very moment. And you know, and so the good news is that, you know, I really that we kind of process and talk about in our first workshop is that, you know, those things, role overload and stress and all of these things whirling around us are just, in particular, stress is the most preventable health hazard. I mean, there are things that we can do. There's ways that and techniques we can learn to implement on a daily basis to help us, because we can't eliminate stress. And so I really, and that's going to be an emphasis moving forward in our HEAP program, is how do we cope with wearing all of these hats on a daily basis, and use that energy that we have that often translates into anxiety or those negative emotions. How can we use that energy to grow, develop our strengths, resilience, and concerning mindset? How do we then how can we change our mindset to look at these challenges and hurdles as opportunities to develop things like grit and resilience and perseverance, you know? And how do we deal with these stressors? Specifically, goal setting, right? Realistic goal setting is important. And then also paying attention to our bodies on the inside, yes, but the inside is completely connected with our outside. So what can we do? How can we practice relaxation? Things like muscle relaxation. We all carry our stress and anxiety, and we think we just carry it, you know, in some internal way, but that all seeps out into, you know, maybe getting a tension headache or a muscle ache or a backache. And so I think that healthy coping, I know I mentioned it earlier, is so important. And that's also incorporated into our first workshop of just balancing everything. Because, I mean, let's address the elephant in the room. That it's like a juggling act. But as Deborah Bradford was saying, and others were saying, just like having a schedule, and then Dr. Grimes will share with us that mindset piece. And these all are things that can help us in identifying our strengths, in order to then be able to build those things like resilience and having that schedule and identifying folks in our lives that are supportive, you know, our cheerleaders, so to speak, and supporters. And so, yeah, absolutely. That's why I'm so jazzed about the higher education program. And I can't wait to hit the ground running again with that. Yeah, with our next. Yeah.
Thank you, Dr. Harper. We're going to turn it over to Pam. She's going to finish out the question.
All right. The next question that I have for you, Ms. Nikki, is can you tell us in your own words how this workshop helped you to move forward in the program? And you.
One of my biggest concerns was the financial aspect. I did not realize that there were so many channels and avenues available. I really learned a lot, and I'm not just saying, but it taught me to research a little more before you come up with basically it was an excuse. Oh, I can't afford it, I'm not going to do it. But I learned that where there's a will, there's a way.
Amen. Yes. And I think a lot of people face that. If you look at college tuition, it's very expensive to go to college. Even to go to a JC now. I remember when I graduated from high school, JCs were like very affordable. I think just a couple of dollars per unit. And Cal States were, I think, when I started, maybe it was like $600 or something like that. Compared to now, maybe maybe like 6,000.
Yeah.
I can't remember. I know my son went a couple of years ago, and I know it was expensive. I just can't remember. But that is a barrier, a real barrier. But the good news is that there's help available. There are lots of scholarships out there, a lot of grants out there, just waiting for someone to take them. But all you have to do, like you said, is to do your research, and that's how we help also. Is to get you channeled in on all that availability. Mm-hmm. So that's very real.
That's also a part of the higher education empowerment program, is that we have folks coming in from CSUB as well as from Bakersfield College and giving that side of it in regards to what resources there are out there regarding financial aid and different options. And I think that's one obstacle that the HEAP program really addresses is, so we bring in these resources and speakers from the university perspective and then from the community college perspective, and just to share all of that information. So it's not a mystery anymore. And so that's another thing that the HEAP program that addresses and provides to those participants, which I think is so important. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Complacency. Webster's dictionary defines complacency as showing or having a lack of interest or concern. Do you believe this could be a barrier in the Black community? If not, why not? If so, what can we do to ensure future generations gain interest in education? Anyone?
So I'll start it out, and I know Dr. Harper will add to it. And so when I think about, like you said, complacency, I think about showing a lack of concern or interest. And I think this is something that it is a barrier for us in the community. I really do, because if you don't have an attitude and a mindset to, both of them play a significant role in enabling us to reach our targets and our goals. So if you don't have the attitude or the mindset and you're complacent, then complacency is an enemy of success. It's easy to be complacent over time, but it's hard to get that push so that you can succeed and be successful. So yes, I do think that complacency is a barrier for our community. If the environment that you're in is complacent, then it's like you will most likely be complacent also. So yes, like I said, complacency is an enemy of success. Like we said, we have to persevere and not be complacent.
Yes, even in the workforce.
Yes.
A lot of people don't reach out for a promotion. Well, I've been doing this job. I do it well. I don't really think I have the skills to, promote. Mm-hmm. And that's complacency.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think I think that's a trap of the fixed mindset. Mm-hmm. And moving from that fixed mindset of, okay, so I haven't achieved this goal yet. And so, or I had this setback and that's it. And just writing it off rather than, and so as part of, again, the HEAP program and in particular, Dr. Grimes' presentation is that our members get to assess, or participants get to assess where they kind of are on that, fixed mindset and growth mindset. And a lot of us have found and discovered that myself being one of them, that I had to move from maybe that more fixed mindset of, oh, I failed at this and that's it. But then I sometimes it's just a matter of wording. Well, I didn't do this yet.
Mhm.
And that opens the doors for opportunities and options. And then all of a sudden you're giving yourself those options of, okay, I didn't achieve that, but maybe it's a matter of, I didn't achieve that yet. And so I think that kind of goes back to our self-talk also, but then also acknowledging that there are real hurdles out there and that those hurdles
Mhm.
give opportunities for practice in overcoming them, and also courage to stand up and deal with them head on directly. And so directly dealing with it rather than okay, so I'm complacency. I'm not going to do that. That's not for me. Well, maybe not yet. Maybe you just haven't gotten there yet. And so that's a big thing. I think we try to encourage our participants to continue to identify those signature strengths that we all have, that they all have, our participants and ourselves and everyone involved in the program. And so for the first part, we share our testimonials, and the bonding and networking is awesome. But also we deal with the fact that there are real barriers here, and let's deal with them straight. Let's deal with them head on and address those things. Let's tear down the mystery of things like financial aid and see, well, what are the paths, right?
Yes. We talked about financial aid, and anybody can basically answer this. And that is, what is something that you feared regarding returning to school that perhaps you found to be untrue?
That's a good question.
For me, I remember I used to think, and I was sharing this with one of my nieces the other day as we were riding in the car. I said, I used to believe that everybody in college, they were just brilliant. They were smart. They were smarter than I was. And, going to the high school that I went to, I went to Cal State right from high school. And I thought right away, oh, they're smart. I'll never make it, And I was sharing with my niece, that's not true. I found out I was just as smart, or in some cases, a lot of cases, smarter than some of the other students that maybe went to a better school or had all the advantages in life. And so it was a barrier for me because it was mental. I can't make it, because they went to a better school or they had better opportunities.
Yeah.
But that was not so. And once I was able to break that barrier, I think it helped me. I could take on more challenges. I became more confident. And so I'm just throwing that question out. Maybe it wasn't part of the.
It was good.
But it's in the same line when we talked about financial aid. That stops a lot of women because we feel, well, we can't afford it. It's just out of the question. I got PG&E. I can't afford to go to school. I can't afford the books. So it's very real.
Yeah.
What about you, Miss Nikki? Anything that you maybe feared and that you found out was actually not true about returning to school? Or
yeah, I thought I couldn't afford it. I was like, oh Jesus, how is this gonna work? But like I said, where there's a will, there's a way.
Yes,
there's a grant out there for everything. You just have to go get it.
Mm-hmm. And grants are free money.
Right.
and that's another thing that the HEAT program also, and I know I keep saying that, but the wraparound resources, and we're just like so excited about being that that mentor in your corner, and finding these things. There's so, like you said, there's so many grants and options and avenues that's a big part of the program, is that we want to share all of those. So, okay, we can, kind of tailor the whole schedule of, steps toward completion or progress. So, and I think that, a lot of people just aren't, I wasn't aware, and just like folks aren't just not really aware of all of the options, the grants, concerning the financial piece that are out there. Yeah.
That's so true.
So, we actively, in our program, find all of these and provide that information. So I think that's, again, from the university perspective, and then also from the community college perspective, depending on what your desired path is. Yeah.
What about you, Miss Glenda?
About me for I think, listen, when I did go back to school, having been in almost like a participant like Nikki, I just felt like, wow, I would just ride along with them. So no better time than the present. And of course, me being 64 years old, I thought about that a dozen times. Like, okay, your mind isn't as young as it used to be. You're set, you're retired. What are you going to do with a degree? But it's a personal achievement that I want to achieve. Yeah. I probably won't go back to work with it. I'm not going to do that. But it's something that I've always wanted to achieve. My brother always encouraged myself and Linda to go to college, but it's something that I always push to the side. I always push it to the side, because you can find an excuse when you want one. You can find it. Yeah. You can find it. We got a pocket full of them.
Yes.
Make up your mind that, you know what, I'm going to do this. I can do this. And I believe that first workshop that you ladies did was one that convinced me that, you know what, Glenda, it's never too late. And then, of course, I was hearing over Facebook, 80-year-old woman graduating from college, and 92. I'm like, what? And here I am saying, well, I'm not doing anything. Why not go on back to school and achieve what you want to achieve? You've always wanted to do it, and I also am a believer that God's timing is the perfect timing. It's when you are ready to surrender to do that you want to achieve.
Yes.
That time. Probably I couldn't have done it before. I couldn't have done it after. I don't know. But I do believe when you make the choice and the decision and have the determination that Deborah talked about, that you have that mindset that Jessica talked about, and the grit, and you get your emotions together, like Dr. Harper talked about. When you get all those things, when they come together, all you have to do is do your part.
Right.
You just have to do your part. It's like the HEAP program almost sets it in your lap to do your part. And if you need encouragement or reminder, we have videos that that you can look back over, just to be encouraged. I've been in
mentors.
Mentors. And thank you, Jenna Clemens, for becoming a mentor. You go back and you can look at those things, and we have people up on request. If you need a mentor, that will help you. And I just think that when I think of my age, and I'm not trying to encourage anybody else, I'm just trying to do it for me. And I think I had to come to that place for my, you know what, this is it. You know what, you can do it. All that encouragement and that, it's kind of like shoveling it to somebody else and you ain't taking it.
Right.
Come on now.
Right. So listening to the ladies in that first workshop really touched me to the point that, Glenda, you can do it. And I was so encouraged, along with Nikki and her sister and the other ladies that were part of the program. I was really encouraged. I'm not doing it because, this program. No, I'm really doing it for me. I'm really doing it for me to challenge me And I really appreciate you ladies and the workshop that you gave that day. That was the one for me, financial aid, we can look at that, the admissions process, they come in and talk about that. But that first workshop is the game changer. It's the game changer. And I really, really was very impressed with that. These ladies are on the board and I just like, whoa. So I was just really impressed with that. So you have to have your own mind. I'll probably be 70 when I finish.
Listen, you know what? But you know what, Glenda? You have that determination. I can hear it in your voice. Nikki, I can see it in your eyes. You have to be determined. This is what I am going to do. I don't care what's going on. I'm going to get this done no matter what. Yeah. And when you have that determination, that's half the battle. You know there are going to be classes you never took before. There's going to be a lot of work, but you have already made up your mind. It will get done. Yes. I will walk across this stage. I don't care how old I am. Nelson Mandela, right? Nelson Mandela, right?
Come on, Bruce. Y'all crazy.
As long as you're not on the wall. No, what I was going to say is Nelson Mandela said that education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world.
Yeah.
The world. You hear me? So it didn't say at a certain age. It said the world. Yeah. So that education piece, it's okay to desire it and it's okay to go for it. Like I said, you got that mindset, it will happen. Yeah. All you gotta do is persevere.
Yeah. Now, did you do your homework?
I did. I have a math teacher that's really, really close to me, and he used to teach math in high school, and I do. It's my son-in-law. He's my tutor.
I'm just kidding, you guys. I talk to Glenda like that all the time. I call her up and I say, "Have you done your homework?"
And don't think in those last 6 weeks, these past 4 to 6 weeks, that I have not had a moment that, is it worth it?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I don't know if that ever is going to stop, because it's going to hound you until you just, stop. You don't even think it anymore. But because it was new again, trying to refresh and all that stuff like that, I just want to tell anybody out there that if you're thinking about it, just do it. Just do it.
Right.
Just do it.
So I'm thankful to you ladies.
Yes. Okay, well, I have one last question. And that is, what would you say to encourage another woman who may have the desire to go back to college? And I think we have all answered that.
Yeah.
Well, there was one thing I know that came up that really resonated as a group, and what Glenda was talking about in our first workshop. And we talked about, and this has been sort of a lifelong thing that I've internalized, as we talk about moving from a fixed mindset to a growth mindset. I always think about it as the 4 Ds. And I am wondering if you all or if anybody kind of remembered what they were, because I don't know. I think it was Deborah Bradford who brought up the word determination.
Yeah.
And as sort of as a theme, as also though as a way of reminding ourselves. That's why I kind of came up with this 4 Ds thing, because it just kind of rhymes together or goes together, and it's a way for me to remember these 4 Ds. Like I said, as we consider how we can then move from this fixed mindset of I can't and check it off and that's it, to, well, maybe I just need to practice this, or maybe I just need to look into this or do some research about this. Drive dedication, desire, and determination. And I have to remind myself of those too, because sometimes it just comes down to in that moment, me remembering, okay, Erica, what do those 4D stand for? And so I hope that was a memorable piece that that our participants were able to take and move on from. Nikki, do you remember that? And I guess my question is to you, really. Have you been able to, did that resonate with you? I found like that was a really neat part of our connecting as a group. And I just wanted to know, is it something that you remembered, and maybe, as far as the 4Ds, desire, drive, dedication, desire, determination, was that something that you were able to take and move on with also?
Yes, I still have my notes. I was looking for that, and I can't find that page. So I'm gonna be looking for that all night. But yes, it's the one that stuck out the most was determination. And if you have the determination to do it no matter what, then success is yours.
Yeah.
Wow.
Do we have some questions tonight, Miss Glenda?
Well, I think we had a couple. Let me.
And I would like to
go ahead.
I would like to also say that there are some beautiful words of encouragement that are written in the news feed. So get a chance, go back and take a look. Thank you, everybody, for those words of encouragement.
Yeah, very good. Provicio. Somebody said Provicio, Nikki. They bravo on you. Yeah, G Hill is doing that. Marie Ruffin says, going to a movie by yourself. Buy that big barrel of popcorn and eat it yourself. Janetta says, oh, she's actually, got some people going on here, but I just wanted to give some just accolades. She said, right, let's see, I'll show it. Come up. Okay. All right.
Well, yeah, everyone watching tonight, I hope the word is just spread and about our upcoming another a program. So yeah, spread the word.
Sign up. Lynn O'Neill, I just see you on there talking about you. You put everybody first, and and we tend to do that because for some of us, I had no regrets of making sure my family came first. I had no regrets about that. But if you feel that the time is now, then the time is definitely now. Everybody in your house is grown, the time is now. So I would encourage you, my sister, Lynn O'Neill, to, if that's what you feel, is to check it out. Come to a program. We're not asking that we would hope that you would sign up for college, but we just hope it encourages you. Maybe it won't be this semester. Maybe it's next semester. We don't know. We just want you to know that we are there to encourage you to look forward to achieving an education if that's what you want. Everybody doesn't want it, but if that's something that you want that maybe has been tucked away and sometimes buried under so many things of life, that is something that you really want, but you never really just took the chance to just go and achieve it. So we're kind of like that middle person that's going to help you, achieve it. Going to encourage you, going to support you, give you the tools that you need, resources and things to get you started. That's all we're doing. We're not claiming to, get you the mind to do all the work, but we are trying to get you to that place that if that's what you want to do, we are here to help you do just that. So I just want to encourage you, ladies. Just want to encourage you.
Yeah. And there's so many options though as well, I think, because I have students that are having a baby or have families, and there are more options now than ever because like myself, I teach synchronously. So everyone just tunes in on a Zoom, and you can balance life And we were talking about all those hats that we all wear from day to day, but there are more options now, specifically at CSUB and different pathways as well, that accommodate to, a schedule that if you have all these responsibilities. And so, I think in the past it was more like, okay, so you can only do one thing or another, and how are you going to do that? I mean, really, it just takes signing into that Zoom. So yeah, they're so flexible these days. Absolutely, there are many options.
And
Yeah.
Dr. Harper, I'm really glad you brought that up, because there's so many young mothers that are out there, and some, we've heard where, they don't want to do anything right now because their kids are so young. And so having the option of doing it Zoom or online, that opens it up, because a lot of times we think, oh, I've got to go to school. I've got to, leave my kids and go here. I got to find a babysitter or what have you. But just having that option and realizing that you have that option there now.
Yes.
That's
Exactly.
And Brenda, I'd just like to encourage everyone to let them know that, it's not too late to sign up for the next cohort and sign up. We're here to help you. We believe in you, and we're here to help you.
Yes, and if you're interested, our next session will be October 9th. So if you're interested, please visit our website at NoSisterLeftBehind2.org and sign up for the next session of the HEAP program, the Higher Educational Empowerment Program. So it's listed on our website. All you have to do is fill out your name, and I think it asks you a few questions, and we'll get you dialed into our next session, which is October the 9th.
Yeah.
That's the first session, and then the second session will be November the 6th.
Okay, we have one question, ladies, from Miss Vicky Coffey, and she is saying, Miss Deborah, I don't know why I can't get this thing to show. But anyway, I'm not going to wait. There we go. Miss Deborah, as a supervisor, please give an example of how to approach a supervisor to support a full-time employee in returning to school and to be flexible in work schedule. That's a good question.
Thank you, Vicki, for that question. I'm going to say this. A lot of it has to do with the organization you're working for. You have some organizations that even boost school, and they will work with you for your schedules and all of the above. But if you don't have that organization that does that, my recommendation is that you do go to your supervisor, go to them in a silo, make an appointment and sit down and talk to them, let them know what your goals, your missions, what you're aspiring to do, and ask them, is there any way that can the supervisor work with you with your schedule? I would like to say I had one staff at one of the institutions I worked for, and she did that with me. We didn't have a program at that time. I did everything I could at that time to assist her. So I think when you go on an individual basis, that helps you out. Of course, you have to be a good employee. If you don't come to work, if you come to work late, you don't finish your projects, it's going to be kind of hard for her or her to help you out. But if you're in good standing, I believe in my heart, and you know how I feel, Vicki, that the Lord will make a way. He'll touch your heart. He said the king's heart is in his hand. That means he can change people's minds that never thought that they would help you to help you. But you have to present yourself as a good worker. I believe that something could be worked out for you. But to answer your question, make an appointment and sit down and talk to your supervisor. And don't say, I'm thinking about. Let her know the classes that I will be taking, the dates that I will be starting, speak in those terms and see what they can do to help you. And I'll be praying.
Yes.
I think
that's
Ruffin had a question.
I think she just said that ask for an alternate work schedule.
Okay.
And that's true. When you're sitting down talking to them, you can ask for an alternate work schedule. And like I said, some organizations already have that built in and some does not.
Yeah.
You know, and also I want to interject that I teach this semester I teach about 150 students, and they're the large classes, and I had more than ever this semester and last semester because of all the juggling that is happening among students and going to school or going back to school. I frequently got the question, Dr. Harper, do you record your lectures? And I record all of my Zooms, and then I post that on Canvas, which they have all that access to. Look at those Zooms because they'll say, I can't be there at 9 o'clock, or is it a problem that I work at 9 o'clock Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Tuesday, Thursday, or what have you? And we have the now option of recording all of those lectures if you sign up for a synchronous class, or there's the option of asynchronous classes as well, where you can. I believe that some professors are different, but most don't have like a real-time Zoom class. Rather, everything happens online. And basically, with both components, there's just so much more flexibility now that of classes that can fit into your life and programs that can be completed while. Now, I don't recommend, the overload piece, of course, still maintaining that balance, which we talk about and we in our HEAP program. But these things can be balanced together. And there's just more flexibility now as well. So I just wanted to add on to that.
That's good. That's good.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay.
All right. Ms. Glenda, would you like to talk about our Cares for Community Outreach project?
Yes, I would. Before I do that, I want to talk about volunteers. We need volunteers. Yes, we do. We need volunteers. If you go onto our website, we have an area under our menu that says volunteers. We need volunteers. No Sister Left Behind is moving into the NSLB Cares Community Outreach Project, where we're going to be reaching out to halfway houses, to the homeless shelter, to sober living facilities. Anything, when we say No Sister Left Behind, we mean exactly that. We're going to reach out to them in those areas. If they do nothing but let us leave a pamphlet, we're just going to reach out to those areas, and then we're going to start a program on trauma. We're going to talk about trauma. So, but we do need volunteers. We need volunteers for the NSLB Cares Community Outreach Project. So we're getting ready for that. So to the members, I'm going to be sending so you can, think about it and join us in volunteering. The higher education empowerment program is coming up. It's going to, like Pam said, it's going to be October the 9th. And that program is only 4 hours, 10 to 2. That's all, 4 hours. You get your orientation, all that in 4 hours in one day. You get your certificate at the end of the day. Nikki can attest that she probably wish she was in that one. Because her and her sister came every week, and we I think they missed one time coming in, but she saw it virtually. And that's another option. You're able to see it virtually. However, this time, being able to see it virtually, we're going to ask that you come into the chat line and tell us that you're there and that you're watching it. Nikki did that. I'm here. She let us know that she was there, but she did come to every meeting that we had. And so I'm grateful for that. So we have options as well. We have virtual and we have in person. It's going to be at 1431 L Street here in Bakersfield, just like we had before. And we thank City Service for allowing us to use their building for free, literally for free. And so we're grateful to them for that. And so we want you to check out our program. We just want you to come. If you don't sign up for college, we're going to leave that to you, but we're going to offer you all the opportunity, the resources, and the tools to do so. And that's what our job is done. Everything is left to you to make a decision. But we're grateful that if you want to sign up and register, please go to our website, www.nosisters.org/programs and register for the program. We are excited. And it says ages 18 to 44. I'm 64. I didn't register for the program, but I get to see everything. If you want to come, you can still come. We don't want to let you. We want you to know that just because you're not between that age group, that was the parameters that was set by our grant. However, we invite you to come and sit in and listen to what was being said and what we have to offer. So I think that's my part of the announcements. Get vaccinated. Get vaccinated. Let's get out of this pandemic. Let's get out of it. Let's get rid of it. Get vaccinated. You know, everybody has their reasons why they don't get vaccinated. If you're not getting vaccinated, and you know, that's fine. But I'm telling you, the numbers are rising. Get vaccinated so we can get out of this. So we can, you know, get back together. You know, a lot of things are holding us back for No Sister Left Behind to move forward. Our membership, our Vice President Pam wants to get a meeting together, but you know, we don't know. With the vaccine, I mean, with the COVID,
Positivity.
we don't want to risk anyone. We don't want anybody to say they walked away from an SLB event and they got COVID. You know, that's like a black eye. We don't want that. So, but we're asking that you get vaccinated. I mean, it's all around us about, you know, what can happen if you don't. So that's it for me. Anybody have anything else? I want to thank our guests, Nikki Littles and Deborah Bradford and Dr. Erica Harper. Thank you, ladies, so much for going back over what we've already done. And it's, I think it's just another boost for us. It keeps me encouraged, as well as probably Nikki and whoever else was in the program as well. So thank you, Linda, to our timekeeper, our Vice President, Pam Walker. We had a great evening. Thank you, ladies, once again for joining us this evening and always putting in and your part and commenting and asking questions. That's what we're all about, is to try to bring education to the community. That's all we're about. We're not trying to be nothing else other than help our community. So we thank you for being here tonight and encouraging us to come back. So I thank you again, ladies, for participating, and thank you again to our audience tonight. Everybody have a great weekend.
And we'll be off next week, correct?
Oh, yes.
We'll be
We'll
off.
be off next week. We're going to be next week. We're out. No show next week.
All right.
See you later.
Bye-bye. Excellent.